Welcome back to Closing Time with Nick El-Tawil. I am once again Nick El-Tawil. I'm here with my special guest today, Side Real Estate's founding Arizona partners, Deandre Morgan. How are you guys?
Great.
Fantastic.
Happy to be here.
Their brand is called The Order Real Estate, which is, might be the coolest name ever. It's like medieval secret society kind of thing, which you don't see in real estate.
No.
Yes.
No.
And that's exactly what we're going for.
You see a lot of driven,
Flashy.
I don't want to steal names here. Pinnacle, top of the food chain type of names.
Kind of like, the peak. The
Yes.
peak of
Yes.
it. Yeah.
We really wanted to go with something that spoke a little bit more to our clients, and our clients are more of a private, I would say, quieter group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that spoke to them, and that spoke to us.
Yeah. And being a part of something. I think that's something in this area that we both personally want to be a part of. We work, live, play, and invest here. We like being a part of the community. So do our clients. And so being a part of something that is different is what we wanted to create. And bringing other agents into the fold that have similar clientele like that. A little
love it.
culty, you know?
just a little. It's not like a super cult,
In a cool
but, like,
way.
Yeah, like not Jim Jones, but like a little culty.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just
Sure.
borderline, where it's intriguing.
So you guys have been with Side now for what, like 8 months, 9 months?
About
Yeah.
9 months, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how was that being the first ones who were out here full time? I know it wasn't set up because when I came in, I had to, help them do the whole Side app. But how was that experience?
Tools, systems, processes, the infrastructure that they already had from being, top 9 or 8, number 8 or 9 brokerage, while only being in 16 or 17 states.
Mm-hmm.
Not to brag, but fantastic. We had no hiccups. All of our expectations were superseded.
Mm-hmm.
There was no slowdown as far as business, transition, onboarding, anything like that. And really, I think that just comes from the top.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, knowing some of the founders and some of the top people in the company helps a lot. And we know how good of people they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that just trickles all the way down. So
Mhm.
if we're speaking to an onboarding manager or a back-end systems guy, it's no different. They're all fantastic people.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, the support we have is just, I feel like we've been very individual, together, but we've been very individual agents, and that's how we operate.
Mhm.
And we still do to an extent, bringing on our own team now, but it was very cool to have this backing of a brokerage that is very supportive and very collaborative. Most companies, most brokerages are not that way, especially in real estate, and it's very refreshing to have a brokerage that's that big, that is that willing to share everything.
I love the take on all that. I think what really separates it is when I think brokerage, it's an office where they get leads and then they pass them out to maybe their top partners or top agents. Side gets no leads whatsoever,
Mhm.
none. They are just there to power your business, and then you get the leads, you make the deals. So it's really more of a platform, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it different. It's just one of a kind in that industry. You are the one generating the business, and they're just there to support you.
Yeah. And it's truly about your business. I think that's the beauty of a lot of industries, but real estate, you can do real estate in any way that you want and be successful. You just have to go all in and find what your niche is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, to your point, they back and support that. They don't just have one model, which most brokerages, they have one model, they have one lead gen system, and your agents kind of have to fit that mold. But we don't all fit that. We all have our own quirks and features.
Yeah.
Corcoran, back in New York, they were saying Corcoran, they just want every agent to do whatever Barbara Corcoran did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, Barbara Corcoran did pretty good. So that's not a bad thing.
No,
for sure.
yeah.
But at the same time, it's not everyone's, a badass grandma who can, hustle from,
Yeah.
$1,000 into a multi-million-dollar company. Not everyone can do that.
Everybody has their own unique value proposition, and we talk about that a lot with new agents when we're bringing them on, or if they just come to us for help. And we see 90% of the time what happens is one successful agent follows usually a mentor's path, and it's, do X amount of open houses per week. And they take that and they crush it. And then they start their own team, and then they teach that their own way. And then that's why there's such a high level of turnover, because, you have a dozen agents come in and see Johnny, who crushes it doing open houses his way, and that's how he teaches his team to do them. But then they don't exceed that way. And we kind of wanted to go a different way. I'm sure that you kind of have the same mindset.
I hate open houses.
Hate them.
They suck.
Yeah, I think I've done 5 in my entire 10 years. Like, I hate them. That's not my personality. That's not where I thrive. Some people do. They crush open houses and they make it consistent. That I'm never going to make consistent. That's not part of my business.
No.
And I need to know that about me and not do those. That's fine.
I think it's an inefficient use of time. Like, you're spending however many hours at this place, then you got to get there early and set up, and you got to stay a little late because people always hang out late. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I just spent 5 hours and I met 2 people.
Yeah.
Like, is that really a great use of time? I don't think so. But some people do great doing those.
When I first started, and I was 18 to 20 at that point, and I remember my team leads in brokerage at that point telling me, you shouldn't be staying at your house, you shouldn't be staying in your own office, you shouldn't be working from a coffee shop. Like, you have to be in front of people, and the best way to do it is to do open houses. And I remember sitting there being like, I'm the most awkward person if I'm in an open house and people come in and I'm like, do you like the house? Like, you're just a stranger. Like, there's nothing here, and I hate digging into questions of like, what are you actually looking for? How can we, like, I don't want that. That's not a good use of my time or where I thrive. It would be better doing actual research in the field and then sharing it in a different platform. That works for me.
Yeah.
I've seen people do open houses, and it's actually impressive how good they are at being able to connect with strangers in a certain way and be able to build that trust within seconds. I'm not that person. I'm good with people that find me on social media, and we have a relationship that way.
There's absolutely something to be said to that, because when we posed that question to the potential agent that we were bringing on, I actually asked Morgan and this agent, has anyone ever taught you how to host a successful open house? And both of them unanimously said no. Like, it was just a kind of feed you to the wolves type of deal, where it was go host an open house. And you're like, oh God, as a new agent, what does that mean? Like, I put out signs and then I'm supposed to talk to people when they come in? That's terrifying. So, to your point, it's tough if you've never been taught how to do it. You know what's tough as well? Social media, if you've never been taught how to do it. So
true.
Having some bit of guidance or
framework,
teaching a framework, that can be.
Then you can adapt to yourself and find the lanes that you're good at or that you like to do, because the consistency matters more. If you're good at open houses or learning to be good at open houses, that has to be a consistent part of your business.
Right, yeah, you can be terrible at open house, but if you do them for a year straight, like 5 a week, you'll probably get something out of that.
Yeah.
Like, just doing it is going to make it happen one way or another.
I've heard people do cold calls that I'm sitting there being like, these are the worst things I've ever heard, but they do it for a year and they'll close like 3 massive deals. I'm like, you probably did way more phone calls than that. But if you convert it on a crappy script, the consistency works.
I always like cold calls.
Really?
But no one picks up the phone anymore, so they suck now.
That's true.
10 years ago, you didn't have as many spam calls. Now, if your phone number's anywhere, like been inputted anywhere, you're getting 20 calls a day.
Yeah.
A day? It's ridiculous. And now the new Apple voicemail thing has saved me from a lot of them, which has been nice.
Yeah. Where it transcribes. Yeah. So my voicemail, I'll show you right now. You guys can probably see this on the camera too. My voicemail is just your loan qualifications. This is all from, the past week. It's just, I have 2 real estate agents and everything else is a funding, here's your personal loan application. I didn't apply for a personal loan.
No.
No. It's funny because I get the same calls and neither did I.
Yeah. Oh, it's just out there. Yeah.
So yeah, it's changed a lot. I think getting your face out there so people know you. Bob Knackle, he's a big commercial real estate broker. He always says this. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you.
Mm-hmm.
If people know you, you can make that connection much more easily.
Yeah, and that's the cool part about social media too, is you get to share who you are, your niche, what your specialty is. That way the people that want those things or align with your personality or align with your lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
they can find you better. Like, that's the whole purpose, is where are your people and how do they find you? By putting yourself out there. For me, it's not going to be at an open house. It has to be when I'm quirky at a coffee shop and then going to play tennis, and then that's where the house is, and I'm sharing that on social media, and that's a very different, fun and also complicated process. Social media is also tough.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, doing anything is going to lead to results. It's so weird how this business works. It's just you do stuff, even if you suck. If you just keep doing it, you'll
Yeah.
get better.
Yep, just keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Yeah.
Keep on going. Keep on swimming.
So you guys have been around for a minute. I know, Morgan, you were not even 18 years old when you got into real estate.
Yep.
Is that legal? Like, how does that work?
I mean, it was really more shadowing
She
at the
had her
beginning.
parents sign off on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're allowed to get your real estate license, young
My mommy
woman.
told me. Yeah, it was really just shadowing at the beginning until I could get my license at 18. And honestly, even then, like, nobody trusts. Between 18 and 21, I had like 2 people trust me, and then I bought my own houses. So, I kind of forced that. The rest of it, I was shadowing. I was working with a team that they also did big infill development here in Paradise Valley and Arcadia. I wanted to understand the development side. I was studying real estate development at ASU. So I was just their free marketer. I just wanted
Okay.
to be there, soak it up, while I could get the experience to then do my own transactions, and people trust me at that point.
Where does that come from? Because when I was 17, I thought realtor was like my mom's friend who sells 2 houses a year. If someone told me that was a career, I would have been like, fuck you.
Honestly, I didn't know it was a career. My parents and my grandparents, I saw, they invested in real estate, and that allowed them to retire earlier. And honestly, we lived above our means because they were able to use leverage. So I just grew up in that. I always knew that I was going to hold real estate on the side of whatever career I wanted to do. I originally went pre-med. That lasted 2 months, and I was like, I don't want to be in school for 10 years and going to residency, be in debt, and then not. Like, I was like, this is confusing to me. That year, ASU came out with their real estate development program, so I went into that, and part of the coursework went towards your license if you wanted to continue that. And I was like, a realtor's a job? Like, my parents and grandparents always, they went to the sell, like, they were embedded in their community, they went, like, to the seller, they did things with, like, an attorney, we never needed realtors.
Yeah.
I literally didn't know it was a job.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, well, these already count for a license, why wouldn't I get that? I started ditching a lot of my pre-med classes to go to real estate development seminars, to go to home buying seminars. I was like, oh, okay. Bought my first condo when I was 19. Kind of got the bug of that. Turned that into a rental when I bought my next place. And I was like, oh my gosh. I would be in so much debt right now. And thankfully I had a full ride to ASU, which definitely helped. But I had a condo by the time I graduated. I had my first rental. I got my second property that I was starting to fix and flip, and while I'm living in it, and I was like, real estate you can control, and I really like, it feels like a game. It's an aspect of a game that I really like to play, and if you go all in, like, it is fun, and it's a big compounding game. Now that I've done it for 10 years, both personally and professionally, like, there's so much more reward that comes down the funnel, and it's just fun to me. But honestly, kind of fell into it because it was an interest, and I didn't know it was a career.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I can relate to that, but I will say it's a trickle when you start, and then all of a sudden it just floods.
Yes.
And this is the second time I'm going through this, but it's like you don't have much coming to you, a couple years, but then it all comes at once.
Yep.
And that's how it tends to go. Funny though, my one semester at ASU, I was also pre-med. And I dropped out. I was making music. I really wanted to make music, and I just took the easy free ride to ASU, whatever. Dropped out, went to New York because that's where you had to be to do anything creative. And then while I'm in school, I meet a friend of a friend. His family owned a bunch of property around New York. I said, this would be good for me. I asked him how to get into it. He said, go be a broker. I was like, oh, broker. That sounds fancy. That sounds really, really interesting. I get the job. I get the license. I get the job. And I'm running around the city doing rentals, and I'm like, oh, I'm just a real estate agent. I'm a realtor. You hustled me. You tricked me into this.
I like the name broker, though. That sounds a lot better, yeah.
In New York, also they do this in Florida, too.
Yeah.
Everybody just says broker.
Right.
They don't say realtor.
Right.
And in New York, you're literally not a realtor because they don't have a realtor association. They have, because they're in New York, they have to be different. They're the Real Estate Board of New York. So no one's a realtor. You're just an agent, but they call them broker.
All of our clients from New York always refer to us as brokers.
Broker,
yeah.
We like politely correct them because we're like, we can actually get in trouble for referring to ourselves as brokers here.
Yeah, in New York, technically you could too, but people just do it.
Yeah. That's just New York.
Yeah. And you can just get the associate broker license, and then that's not a lie. And it doesn't change anything about your job. It's just, not a lie anymore.
Yep.
You guys hit on something when you were talking about investing, and it sounded like when you were referring to what we do, helping clients buy and sell homes, as far as a trickle or almost a hockey stick line of success. And I just want to be really clear on that, especially for like newer agents. That's everything. I know that we're in such like a world today of seeing, buy a rental property for $5,000 and, be financially free and go live on the beach. Like, that is not how it works. It's never how it worked. Was there a time where it may have been a little bit easier? Can the market shift so that our job can be a little bit, easier? We're selling some more homes? Sure. But whether you're investing or getting into the game of buying and selling real estate or helping people buy and sell real estate, it takes a long time. Like you've been in this for how many years now?
I will say, so it's been about going on 13 years. My third year back in the day, I did pretty damn good.
Sure.
My third year in Arizona, not quite as good. We'll just say that. But the market shifted.
Right.
Yeah.
So 2015, 2016, luxury real estate in major cities was just insane.
Yeah.
I've actually seen stats where 50% of condos in New York are selling for less than their 2016 prices.
Yeah.
Today, 10 years later.
Yeah.
Which is wild how much that shifted to where, the major coastal cities just took a downturn. And then the places in more like middle America or even Arizona shot up in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
And those are still going up.
Yeah.
Whereas New York's not recovering anytime soon.
No, they got a little bit to go.
You
gotta hold on.
They're about to freeze the rent, so
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with it.
I mean, even though the market is still very hot here in the greater Phoenix area, Scottsdale, we're seeing for the first time in 3 to 5 years, a lot of people that are now on the resale side of their purchase 3 to 5 years ago with that oh shit look of like, hold on, I'm not making money. It's like, no, you bought at what was more so the peak, say during COVID or,
And waiving appraisal and paying above.
Right.
And you can't have that short-term mentality with those.
Right.
It's a long-term game. Take advantage of short-term opportunities when they come up, but don't bank on them. That is the biggest thing that I tell all of my clients. Be in it for the long term. Real estate always comes back up. You will have market fluctuations. Expect them.
In America, yeah.
So far.
Yeah. If you're buying real estate in Brazil, you might not be all right.
Venezuela.
Venezuela, yeah.
Might not be.
I don't know, when the Venezuelan peso, whatever it was hyperinflated, maybe buying Venezuelan real estate would have been a good move.
It's true. Yeah. I'm gonna stick with Phoenix real estate for now.
For now.
More specifically, Paradise.
Probably a good call.
Yeah.
Although back in the day I did have a client, this was like 2015, 2016, and he was buying places in New York, but then he's like, have you heard about Toronto? It's going crazy right now. The exchange rate's really good. I'm going to buy a couple properties there. And he did. And he made out so hard. Like, he crushed it.
Yeah.
That international investing, if you can time the exchange rates, that's a huge game. But he was like, this is a very wealthy guy. Like, he didn't need the money. He was just doing it for fun at this point.
Yeah.
He just liked the game of
and then
winning.
you can take on those risks a little bit more, which is fun. I mean, even where I am now, which is nowhere where I want to be, but I can afford to take more risks now and do things that are just more fun that I just like to do. When I first started, I don't have the ability to do that. Like, my first property, I was just lucky that I was able to buy it, and I just sit on it. Like, that was, you had to do your first one to get into it, and then it starts compounding. You start getting these other benefits, you start getting a little bit more fun, a little bit riskier, and you can afford to take those.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Morgan worked as the point of contact for a conglomerate of Canadian investors for a little while. So randomly she'd be taking calls at God knows what time with like 8 Canadian people like, oh, sorry, go ahead. Like your turn, go ahead, Morgan. What was that? But it was pretty interesting, and they were just curious about different markets, specifically Phoenix, because during the time it was super hot, and they'd made their money there, and they wanted to put it somewhere else.
Yeah, a bunch of them the last 1.5-ish, 2 years, they started selling some because they could get out and move. But Florida and Arizona were 2 big markets for Canadians to start coming into. But yeah, that was fun, and I still talk with them every now and then, and they're on the sidelines, they're watching, but that was a fun mix of clients that I had in there.
Deandre, what about you? You are relatively new to the game.
How did I get started in real estate?
How did you get started?
So born and raised in Phoenix, went to school here, grew up.
Huge.
Yeah.
Massive.
Honestly, it is really helpful.
Also a massive man.
Yeah, this chair isn't really good. Right out of college, I got into life and health insurance. A buddy of mine from high school was really crushing it in that game and started with him. So I was kind of familiar to the whole sales, get this sort of license, and then have the ability to sell this product or service. You have to get a life and health insurance license, which honestly, I think it's about the same amount of time to get your real estate license as that. Did that for a while as a young kid from like 18 to 22. After that, I got into medical device sales and helped a company from actually a longtime client, now in real estate, who sold a medical company on the East Coast, bring one of his mentees' company here. So did that while I was opening up that kind of medical device facility here. I had a mentor tell me to get my real estate license. I was like, what the hell for? Like, I'm doing fine. This is a ton of fun. And he was like, just because when you're going to buy your first home, you should have your real estate license. He's like, it's a 9-day crash course. Just take 9 days off and go get it. So I did that. Never really did anything with it. I actually helped a couple friends sell houses and helped my parents sell their house in the kind of interim before Morgan and I met. And when we did meet, we were traveling in Southeast Asia, and she was closing deals from like a hut in the middle of the jungle.
Okay, hold on. Let me backtrack 1 second. Was this a first date in Southeast Asia? What the fuck?
So if you want to know the date story, it was a first date. We had known each other for about a week. Yeah. And she had a month-long trip in Bali planned. I don't know, you had this planned for
almost a year? Yeah.
So I dropped her off at the airport and kind of said our goodbyes, like, see you in a month. And Morgan texted me and she's like, this is stupid, but like, I kind of miss you, because we'd only known each other for a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's definitely stupid. But I was like, should I just cancel my plans for the next month and like get a ticket? She goes, do it. I was like, all right, don't tempt me. Like, I'm very spontaneous. I'll do this. And she told me, go ahead, do it. So I was like, all right, 1 question. I was like, is there a seat next to you? Because I'm not going on a 24-hour flight like by myself or like sitting next to 2 random people. She looks it up and there's 1 seat left on the plane. So I booked my ticket and we went to Bali for a month.
And it was a fully full flight. Like, everything that
completely full
should have gone wrong didn't go wrong. Like, there were so many awesome signs that came in. I'm not like a sign person, but I was like, the universe. I tell you this all the time. The universe is on our side, that's for sure. But it was a fully full flight. The only ticket that's left is next to me, and then the only person who doesn't show up is the person that's in our row. And I was like, oh, we're going to be just fine. This is going to be a great time. That was and then we spent a month in Bali. And that was a pretty easy crash course of like, I mean, we barely knew each other. Before we even got there, we're like, all right, we're going to be official. We're going to do this. He started seeing me close deals, and he's like, we could do this together. Like, we could totally do this together. This is cool. And we came back, we moved in together, we started building a business together and kind of merging things, and it really took off from that point. Yeah.
It's a risky move.
Yes.
I'm going to go to Bali for a month with someone I just met.
Yeah.
Okay. But it worked out.
It did
work
out
really well. Yeah.
My luck, I would come back home with no kidneys. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say we're pretty, I don't know if risk averse is the right term. I don't think either of us are afraid of risk whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of live our
I mean,
lives that
clearly
way.
not. You're gambling every day. You're real estate
Yeah.
license.
Honestly, yeah, we wake
Yeah.
up unemployed every single day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never got into sports gambling.
Yeah.
Never gambled in my life. But I always tell people when I see them doing it, I'm like, oh, I just gamble with my real life.
Yeah.
This guy's backing out of a deal, whatever. I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
It's
Right.
fine.
You're like,
I was
"Fine,
supposed to
everything's
make
fine."
money this month, and then this guy decided that he hates Phoenix, doesn't want to live
Yeah.
here, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to make any money with him.
God, yeah, the year COVID hit, that was going to be one of my best years. And I remember like January, February, right before everything started like crushing down, I had $120,000 in commission, under contract, about to close. Everything was going well. And I was like, damn, this is going to be a good like January 1st week of February. All right. And then COVID happened. All the deals, I think it was 5 of them, got canceled. One buyer lost their job. One seller lost their job, couldn't sell their house. Like, it was just mayhem. And I'm like, oh, $0. Awesome. This is gonna be a year. I'm like, okay.
That's brutal.
And the year actually ended really well because Phoenix, then we took a little bit off and then it was like, woo, real estate's going wild. But that first 6 months, I was like, uh-oh, I'm very glad that I'm scrappy because that was gonna be real nice.
Yeah. It's crazy to hear that because from my perspective, I was in New York. We were shut down for like 5 months. I actually came back to AZ, stayed in my parents' basement at 30 years old for 2 months just to like, get some sun and just get out in the open.
Well, you couldn't do anything.
So you were allowed
Everybody
to go
was
outside.
caged in, yeah.
There was like nobody on the street, no cars even. It was
Yep.
actually a ghost
Yeah.
town, a literal ghost town. And I tried to tough it out for a little bit, but we couldn't even work. So it was like, I'm just going to go home, stay in my parents' basement for a little bit. And my perspective of that was like, wow, we were hit really hard. But you guys were also hit hard out here. It just didn't last as long.
Didn't last.
Yeah.
It honestly was like, I remember the first 2 weeks of like, it's going to be 2 weeks and we're all going to like Zoom call people. I remember calling my parents who lived right down the road. We're like on Zoom with like mimosas and we're like, it was like fun. It was like funny here. But then everybody, it literally was like maybe 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden people started going out. People really didn't care. We were going to restaurants. We were at least going outside because it was nice out, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But then it bounced back like crazy.
Yeah.
All my New York friends, because I go summer in Maine, they all left New York, went up to Maine because they're some of our neighbors.
100%. Every single person. I knew
Everybody left because they were like, we literally can't do anything. Like the buildings, they had weird rules about how you had to like schedule elevators and like do different things. I was like, that's miserable. Like that sounds awful. And everything bounced back here like crazy. That first little stint, that was tough. But then I can't complain about the rest.
There was a CVS that I lived next to on 8th Ave and 14th Street. I actually looked it up the other day. It used to be 24 hours. COVID hits, they close at midnight. I just looked the other day, they still close at midnight. And we have a 24-hour Walgreens here in Scottsdale. So, like, we are literally open more than New York City.
Yeah.
Which is still 6 years later.
It's crazy how much business and real life COVID changed still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we see so many things hanging on like that. I think it did a disservice to a lot of people, but don't get me started on that.
Yeah. No, it's definitely different. Well, and then with clients too, a lot of people that weren't either hybrid or remote before, now they're buying homes with that in mind. And then a lot of people during COVID, because you were in your homes, realized, oh, open concept sucks ass. Like you can't have your kids in the living room, you working, your husband doing something, the dog's over here. It doesn't work. And so now we're redesigning homes a little bit differently too. That you're still
when
open, it's still grand.
When you're talking about an unintentional open concept.
Yes.
With absolutely no thought behind it, and you just have an open home.
Yep.
Yeah.
All these
Do
big
not
spec
go for that.
builds.
Yeah, terrible.
Which we had been telling people before. We're like, I know that this seems great, but if you really think about it, it's not that awesome. Picture all of your people here. Like it's a lot. And then COVID hit, and people were like, oh, now that we have zero choice, we do
when you
get
have
it.
no reprieve.
And people were actually starting to build in some walls and closing some things in a little. I saw that a lot, and now the intentional open concept is very, very important.
If you have open kitchen, open, living family rooms, that's fine. But having a very private bedroom, having separated guest bedrooms, a
Workspaces,
specific dinner office. Yeah.
That was something people forgot.
That was the New York thing. Everyone wanted a big loft, which is just one open space. And when COVID hit, that stopped real quick.
Yeah. Where you
Like,
have
this was
like
cool
your
concept.
desk up against the window, but just like on the other side of the room, like kitchen, living room, your bedroom's over here with like one wall in between.
Like not even a full wall, just
just
like
a
a
wall.
half wall. Yeah. Think like Optima, Camel.
Yeah.
So that went away. But if you're single, that's cool.
Yeah,
But if you actually live with people, no, that's not good.
No, if I was single, I could. Yeah, I know exactly how I would design it. I would be perfect. But yeah, if I had just you in there, that's not. I can't. Nope. We need to have some zones.
So, you're 11 years in real estate now?
Going on 11.
On 11. So, this woman's not even 30 yet. She's still 22 somehow. So it's crazy to see, how much experience we have. It's with such a young group here.
Yeah.
I think we got something special that we're building here.
I really think so. I think this is the case in a lot of areas, but definitely, we're a big freaking city and growing fast. You have the older, guard,
Boomers.
I want to say.
Boomers.
You have your boomers who are crushing it. They're doing well. They have their business. But they're not going to be around for much longer. And hopefully they don't want to be either. They also want to retire and do their thing. But then you have this gap where, nobody is, especially here in Paradise Valley. There's nobody. So it's them, a 2-decade gap. And then you have some of us. And we are going to start closing.
A little more than 2 decades.
I was actually, that's probably 3 to 4.
Yeah, it's probably 3-4 decades.
3-4 decades.
That's probably 4 decades on some of the big ones, But that's a massive gap. And there truly isn't anyone in this area who's in there.
No.
Which, that
I don't think there's anybody filling that gap the right way or filling that gap the way that we intend to do so. There's, I think, 27,000 licensed agents here.
I think there's way more than that. Well, active.
I think it's 27,000, which is an absurd number. But from what we see and what we hear, and I'm sure you do, even though we're in the same market, you do a lot of condos, you do a lot of Optima. There's just a gap of service, and I think that's a huge benefit to us. Mm-hmm. It's like we can just step right in and fill it as long as we do a good job.
I have told people many times that New York was a lot less competitive than Arizona for real estate, specifically real estate. New York's maybe 4th, 5th best thing. They want to work in finance or tech or something.
Got it.
Here it's real estate, real estate, mortgage guy, developer, real estate. Real estate guy.
Yep.
That's everybody. If you look up names in Scottsdale and Paradise Valley, it's everybody.
Everybody, their mom, their dog, everybody has their license. It does not matter.
Are you seeing that change since we had those rule changes in 2024? I know you said you got into it because your mentor said buy your first house with it. But they don't do that anymore. There's no co-broke guaranteed. You have to write it in the contract.
Right.
So
right.
If someone came to me on a deal like that, I'd just be 0%.
I knew my way around a negotiation. I was pretty confident with that. No, we are. I think data-wise, we're seeing a massive drop-off of 5 to 7% just in the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, to be honest, it's needed.
Yeah.
Very needed.
Not everybody should just be kind of throwing around deals and negotiations. It's a massive disservice to the client.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're buying or selling a home, I know that people think, just because Aunt Linda has her real estate license, I can go do a deal with her, and she said that she'd give me, 1.5% back under the table. You're gonna get fucked, and we've seen it happen countless times.
Yeah.
And now you gotta sign a contract with Aunt Linda.
Yeah.
So, do you really want to sign a contract with Aunt Linda? I don't know if you do.
Yeah. And even if those transactions go well, we've seen it a ton where they either could have gotten more in concessions. They probably could have gotten something better in whatever their strategy was. I've talked to some of these people afterwards, and I'm like, why did you structure it that way? Because if your goal was actually to either make more money or use the equity on one house to push it over here, why did they have you do it this way? Because with the exact same situation, you could have structured it here to either lower your payment or get you a better whatever. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that was an option. Well, yep, that's the whole reason you hire an actual experienced agent, because they can fit, the entire goal is to fit who the person is to the current market and be able to tie a strategy together. The person, an everyday person, doesn't know how to do that. We need to be able to filter that information, which is different for every single person, every different neighborhood, and specific seller house. Like, there's a lot of nuances that go into it. And if the realtor isn't tying that strategy into anything, they're just opening doors and they're just writing contracts, and that's not valuable.
I'm sure you're the same way. We're happy to share those tactics or information. We're happy to share those freely. Like, we don't gatekeep anything, and the reason is because it actually takes true skill and knowledge to execute those. Like, anybody can have
the idea.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If you don't do it,
if your agent, if your buyer's agent, or if your listing agent ever mentions a decreased or reduced commission as part of their pitch, we say you're dealing with the wrong agent. Like, if that's part of your sales pitch, you're dealing with the wrong person. A percentage for us on, what's standard here, 2.5%, 3%, is a third of our income. But we say all the time, we have no issue negotiating a percentage, either for you on the sale of your house or for you, meaning getting that percentage back in negotiations, purchase price, seller concessions. Like, that's not a big deal. If you can't negotiate minimum a percent, again, you're probably dealing with the wrong agent.
I got a call yesterday from someone. She said she wants to list her house in Scottsdale, but she wants me to take 1%. I said, oh, I'm sorry, that's not my business model, but what's the address? I looked it up. Like, oh, it's a really nice house. I think, you know what, I actually might have someone who may be looking for this. I made the appointment. I'm not going to take 1%, but I'm going to meet her. I'm just that confident that we actually do provide way more than 3% of value to you. Yeah. And when she meets me, she'll see that.
I think there's a big difference in how we operate as well. And I think you lead with value. We lead with value. And I think that's different than a lot of agents where all they care about is signing the contract. Even if that means they're taking a reduced percentage on something, they just want it signed. And they're not going to do anything until that contract is signed. And I think that's something for us of like, we have a client that reached out to us last week, and immediately we had brought a potential off-market buyer into it without really, it was just a conversation. But we were like, this could actually work for something. Do you want to turn my alarm off? That's me being like, you have 2 minutes. Because then we need to Botox.
Are you on Botox?
I do a little bit in my forehead.
It's the Botox capital of the world. I've said that in listing videos before.
It really is. Yeah.
My mom's on Botox.
I learned this summer, and I should have thought about that.
Everybody here is.
Oh, everybody.
Not me.
But I learned that this, congratulations, guys.
I don't think Jensen is. Jensen, you on Botox?
Nice.
No Botox for JK.
Well, it shows you guys, so. That's why I wore a hat today. That and the hat hair, My forehead is so emotive, and I'm like, just chill out for a second.
It's not at all, but.
It is to me.
Too many facial expressions. That's the first time I've heard someone use that as a reason to get Botox. I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Have you been in North Scottsdale? It's the first time you've heard that?
People who have too many facial expressions in North Scottsdale? No,
no.
I'm not going to name any names. If she ever hears this, she'll know. My ex-girlfriend's entire family, the whole female side, would practice not showing emotion. So they would sit straight faced to reduce wrinkles. So
that's
future wise, they didn't want to have crow's feet, so they wouldn't laugh at jokes or be too.
And you didn't marry this woman?
And it lasted about 3 months.
Yeah. No, that's there are so many tactics like that. I remember when
she wouldn't drink from straws either. None of their family would drink from straws.
Yeah. No, that's a huge one. It's all these little tactics that it's I can't do these, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm drinking out of a freaking straw. I'm just gonna do it.
Dude.
If I get wrinkles from that, I remember somebody telling me you smile way too much, and I was like, because I'm happy. I'm like, is that a bad thing?
We're gonna offend
and they were like,
half
you're
of
gonna have
Scottsdale
too many
British Valley
wrinkles.
right now.
Welcome to the new guard, people. All those boomer agents. We'll smile for you.
I'm all about preservation. I don't like changing. Like, I mean, there's a time and a place. I'll make an exception. But I think I look at people in Scottsdale sometimes, and I'm like, you don't even look real. It's not even humanly
We're really
possible
trying to
to
offend
look
everybody.
like this.
I love it.
And it's confusing to me. Because we're all, like, everybody's, well, no. I won't say that. I was going to say everybody's beautiful. Not really. But, but you have your own beauty. Enhance that. And not
Morgan Hawes, everybody. Deandre Wright.
Wow.
You want an agent in Scottsdale who does not have 50% plastic in her body.
Only
Right here.
10%, you know? A little bit of Botox.
And I'm diabetic, so
Like,
there's that.
yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.
And we're out.